can't wait any longer. What's up, guys? This is Gene Jensen. It's time for another Friday Night Live. We're going to let some people jump on here real quick, and then we're going to start talking about some cool stuff. So, anyway, I'm about 5 minutes early, so we normally do these at 9 o'clock on Friday nights, if you guys want to tune in. And usually they about 15. I like that idea. What's going on, guys? Oh, I need to shave. This thing's getting a little too long. Might have to do that tonight. Give myself a haircut. I haven't paid for a haircut in about 12 years. So, what's up, everybody? How's it going, man? 5 Mile Boys, what's going on, man? What's going on? Kevin the Bait Man's on here. What's up, Tackle Freak? Oh, what's he say? Live here from Tackle Freak. Shipping all the new Strike King 1.5 DDs. Ooh, I'm excited about that, brother. Thomas F. Outdoors. Hey, Fluke, I was just in the outdoors. What part are you in? I was near Lake Lanier. I was opposite side of the state from you. I live over in the northwest corner, so up in the mountains. So, all right, we got about 125 people on here. Let's talk about some really cool stuff that's going on right now. First of all, my website, flukemastr.com, where I sell Flukemastr apparel, hats, anything else you want. We've got a lot of stuff going on there every day. There's some really cool new 4th of July shirts that have my logo, but instead of the red on the background, it's what, AP camo, all-purpose camouflage with the F hook in Stars and Stripes. And number 2 is my 13 rods. We've been over the past few months or few weeks, well, almost 2 months. We've been sorry, I just ate some chicken. We've been having issues with the rods not shipping out, and I thank you guys who ordered them for being patient with us. Finally, 13 got everything together with their shipping deal, and the fake chromes shipped out yesterday, and the muses are shortly behind them. So thanks for being patient. So you guys who are kind of holding off from ordering rods and reels from my website, go ahead and jump on there and do that, and you should get shipped. They should get shipped pretty quick. Boy, that was a nightmare, but it is what it is. So, let's see what else is going on. I'm doing a really cool challenge video with my boys tomorrow. We started filming it today. As soon as I jump off of here, I've got to go get some rods and reels rigged up for some bank fishing and a tackle box. And let's see what else. My Instagram stuff. You guys if you haven't followed me on Instagram, go follow me on Instagram. You get to follow my daily stuff. That's where I keep, basically, you guys get to follow me and whatever I'm doing each day, which is a cool deal. I can't do that on YouTube, so Instagram makes it pretty easy. So trying to think of anything else that's really my Lucky Tackle Box. As you guys can see, Lucky Tackle Box sponsorship is official. Actually, it was official a couple of weeks ago, but it's pretty cool. All about that. We'll talk a little bit about that a little bit more about that later. Tyler, I see your comment. Please stop spamming my feed. Thanks. What's the best? Jason Mims. What's best to use on hot days? Giant worms or jigs? In the summertime, I go with giant worms almost every time. That's what I have confidence in. I tend to get more bites with them, especially on deep spots and hard bottom. I don't know why a jig stops working. Maybe it's because crawfish aren't quite as active when it's really hot. That's my only guess. So, is the duct tape mentioned? Is the duct tape method bad for baitcaster? Would it be okay to use if I'm not confident in the mono backing? I would use electrical tape instead of duct tape. Is what I would use. The duct tape, I use it only when I don't have electrical tape handy. Let's see. Jake the Snake says, thanks to all our troops. Yes, I firmly believe that. All my brothers in arms. I served too, and it was probably some of the best 6 years of my life. So let's see. James Mart, new boat owner, would love some videos on basic boat tips and maintenance. You have got that right. I'm gonna have to jump on that and do those. Matter of fact, I wish my son was in here. I have him write it on my board. That's a good idea. I need to come up with a lot of really short video ideas, and that's actually pretty. That's perfect for what I need to do. So, what do you like to use on a Carolina rig? I like to use a Cinco, and I like to use a trick worm or a ribbon tail worm in the summertime, and then early spring and in the springtime I'll use a creature bait or a craw bait. So thanks, Yakfish, Virginia. I keep electrical tape in my tackle box. Yeah, John, as you go, you get your redneck card back. Uh, thanks, thanks y'all for thanking me for my service. I appreciate it. Uh, let's see. What lure would you suggest for fishing in a small local creek that gets kayaked on frequently? Small finesse baits. A Ned rig is perfect. Chris Goff, thanks for your $2. Is my P.O. box correct? It is. I need to go get new keys for it. I keep forgetting to do that. I lost my keys to my P.O. box. So, but yeah, that's the correct one. And hopefully they haven't shut it down because I haven't checked it in about a month and a half. Best time to use a whopper plopper is when it's windy. And buzzbait works really good when it's slack water, but if you got any wind on the water, throw a whopper plopper. And you'll catch fish on it, man. You just throw it in the shallows, and eventually something's going to come up and hit it. Actually, that's one of the videos on my list for videos to outline. Is I need to outline a whopper plopper video and then go try to do it next week. So, what else is going on? I thought I had my lucky tackle box down here. I could show you guys what was in it, but I don't. It's back upstairs, I think, because I was planning on taking it tomorrow. Uh, let's see. What is a good baitcaster reel for about $100 to $200? Origin. Actually, I was reading Baitman's comment right above yours. Looking for an all-arounder. Thanks. All-around good one. I love the Concept A for an all-around reel. The Concept C is also a good all-around reel. It really, really does good with light baits. Does good with a lot of just about anything, but man, it shines when there's light baits. So, Chris, thanks for the $2 again. Is there a size limit on the PO box? No, there's not. No, there's not. I hope you're not shipping me a car. When will be the when will we see some LTV videos? Actually, I'm going to film at least one next week. I'm not going to do slams like I did with MTB. It's going to be totally different. I'm going to pull a lure, and this month there's actually 2 poppers out of the in the box. But I'm going to pull a popper out of the box, and I'm going to do a completely detailed video on 1 or 2 lures in the box, which is going to be awesome because I miss doing those. The ones where I sit down the day or 2 days before, do a complete outline, study, do research, figure out things that I didn't even know, and then go do a video about it so you guys can learn everything you can about the bait that's right there in that box. So I think it'll be pretty cool. So, has Chad tried the new Hobie 107 or Bonafide 107 yet? You know what? He gave it to his wife, and I don't think his wife will let him use it. At least that's his excuse. He might be a little nervous because it is a small kayak, and I was too when I got on it because it's a 10-foot kayak, and I've never had a good experience on a 10-foot kayak. So I'm gonna have to see if he's gotten on it yet. So let's see. What to throw this time of year on up north lakes? You know what I like throwing this time of the year? Actually, no, it's not September yet. Northern lakes are usually you can throw just about anything. It's a matter of finding the fish. They're probably going to be fairly shallow if there's any shallow cover. So that's largemouth. Smallmouth, I don't know, man. I don't do smallmouth much. Best topwater bait for dirty and clear water. And there's not one single one for both those colors. I just change colors of the bait. Topwater baits, I like a popper when they can't see very much or something that makes a lot of splash. And when it's really clear, I go with a really clear bait and usually a walking bait. So, dang, you guys are freaking asking questions quick. Sorry, brother. Let's see. If I'm looking for electronics for my kayak, what would you say are features I would need? I say this every time somebody asks for what's a good starter a starter fish finder, when they're trying to choose a fish finder, first of all, make sure it has down imaging, because down imaging tells you what you see on your regular sonar. Make sure it has GPS mapping, and it's going to be color because most of them are nowadays. And then get the largest screen that you can afford. If it has all of that stuff, you're good, man. You're good. So Stephen Guthrie Stephen Guthrie, he says, how's the new pellet smoker? You follow me on Instagram, brother. I love it. That chicken was awesome. Took me an hour and 15 minutes total from prep time to pulling it off the grill, and I am happy with it. So, reminds me of the old pit cooked chicken that I used to eat all the time. So, let's see. Medium heavy spinning rod setup, 7 foot 1 inch. Medium heavy spinning rod. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. 7.1. I wouldn't go longer than 7.3 on a spinning rod. Should I fish Rocky Mountain next week? They're going to be out deep on the drops. They're going to be on hard bottoms, and on the outside edges of the rock piles is where they'll be next week. I got a couple of spots I ain't telling you about, but they're deep and they're hard, and that's where the fish kind of stack up. Beginner fishing about terminology, dude. Chris, you nailed it, man. I've been wanting to do one of those for a couple of years. It's going to take a lot of time and research that I don't have right now, but it won't be long, man. I'll jump on that. Matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do, you guys? I'm going to show you guys my board. I don't know if you can see it. Let me write down those things. Boat videos and fishing terminology. It's a long word. Cool. Sorry. I don't write them down, I forget them. So, best trailer for a chatterbait, I like several different types. I like a regular fluke. I like a Rage Menace, which is a double tail grub. And I also like a paddle tail, just about any type of 3.5 to 5 inch paddle tail. So, how do you get started on offshore fishing? Love the advice you give. Get a fish finder. That's the best thing I can tell you. And learn. Go watch my video, my old video on how to read a lake map, because that is critical. I mean, I live and die by my maps. That's why I got rid of my Garmin's, just because the maps were not user friendly to me. I'm sure if I would have spent 2 or 3 or 4 weeks on them, I would have figured them out and learned how to use them. I just wanted to throw them in the lake every time I was out. So Nathan Higgins says my boat's nice. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Nate 45345. I've had my 13 fishing rods on and reels, and they haven't let me down the 2 or 3 years I've had them, dude. If you just take care of your stuff, if you don't let it get sand in it, if you don't ride with them in your boat all the time, or ride with them where the junk and crap from the road can get on them, they'll last you forever. You just have to take care of them. I mean, I'm not good at taking care of my stuff. I break my rods a lot, and it's always my fault. It's not the 13's fault. I tend to bundle them up too much, and I'll break guides when I grab them and squeeze them too hard. So, Random Adventure, thanks for the $5. Hey, Gene, sorry for the nickel, but I'm paying for a wedding. I get you, man. I understand that a lot. I was wondering if you could give me your opinion on the Kayaking line of reels. I'm going to give you my honest opinion, and I haven't tried one in about 1.5 to 2 years, so take it with a grain of salt. The ones I tried back then, I did not like. The spinning reel was good. I tried to wear that spinning reel out. I'd sit there at my desk and spin it and reel it for hours and hours, and I'd go out and I used it and everything else. I didn't like the bait casters, but the spinning reels were decent. So that's my opinion. Like I said, take it with a grain of salt. So, let's see. What are some of your main tips on catching pond bass during this time of the year? The best thing for you to do, and I'm going to tell you right now, and then go watch the video about how to fish small ponds that I have on my channel. But you go find the deepest water that is closest to the bank. So I cast around and I count my bait down and I figure out where that deepest water is, and then I start there and I work my way out both directions until I find something hard or some grass or a brush or something. Then I'll stop and I'll fish it really, really hard. This time of the year, the bass are going to pull out, especially after the sun gets on the water. They're going to pull out into the middle and they're going to get down closer into that deeper water. So, hey Gene, what is the best fishing bait caster reel for under $80? Woo! The best one that I've used is that Origin A. It's a lot of plastic parts and pieces. It's not one that I'm going to use every day because I fish 200 days a year. But those of you who are new at fishing and want to learn a bait caster, or new at fishing and want an inexpensive bait caster, it'll last you a long time if you're not fishing every day and fishing hard every day. Uh, that's just what it is, man. And it's a good reel, like I said, but it's $80. So Gene, will keeping my rod in my truck bed all day affect my fishing line with direct heat and sunlight exposure? Yes, it'll affect fluorocarbon and it'll affect monofilament a lot faster, and I'm imagine it would affect braid over time, but it'd be a long time. So let's see. How do you like the Defy Black? And why do trackers get a bad rap online? Researching for my first boat, and the prices are right. Uh, the Defy Black is a good rod. It's the old Hellbent rod from Number 8 Tackle, which is a really good rod. It's the ones my kids use, and I use them every once in a while. Really good rod for the price. The uh, the the trackers get a bad rap for a couple of reasons. They have thinner aluminum than a lot of the other boats that are more expensive. They're narrower, so they use less aluminum. That's where they save that $5,000 difference between the tracker and the other boats. They're narrower and they wiggle a whole lot more. So I wouldn't say they're less. Well, they are. They're less stable. If you're fishing in the front of the boat and you got a guy in the back of the boat, you almost have to be careful when you step to the edge of the boat because you might cause your buddy to lose his balance. Every other aluminum boat that I've been in, like my Alumacraft and the G3, and they're a lot more stable because they got a lot more bottom to them than the tracker. So, when are we going to see a review on the Bonafide SS127? I've got it sitting right there on my list to do next week, and hopefully within the 2 weeks you'll see it up. The 107 is going to take precedence because it's a newer boat, but I'm going to do one on the 127 too. I'm actually going to do a rigging video on the 127, which will also be kind of like a review. Um, but I like doing rigging videos, so especially since I just put a whole bunch of cool stuff on that boat. Why is bass fishing so complicated and oversaturated with brands and products versus other kinds of fishing? Because of tournament angling. Tournament angling is what sparked bass fishing in the first place. It's what's caused it to be so big. It's caused it to be a marketplace, a huge marketplace, and bass are very difficult to catch, find and catch a lot of times, and they do get finicky. But literally, I bet you with a tackle box, you can figure out how to catch fish. So let's see. Let's see, Larry, got any of those old junky Jackson kayaks you don't want anymore? They're not old. They're not junky. I love Jackson kayaks. Like I said, I didn't leave Jackson because their boats were bad, because they're not bad. The Mayfly is still one of my favorite boats. The Liska was a really good boat. The Big Rig is big and stable, but I had to leave them because they weren't following through with their side of the contract, and so I was tired of begging, and I was just like, I got to find somewhere else. I took a huge financial hit leaving them, and I feel good about it because I don't have to worry anymore. Um, so that's just the way it is. I don't have to whine and complain to them because they weren't doing what they were supposed to do. Um, but I don't have any. To answer your question, I don't have any. I had to give them all back because none of them were really mine. I just signed them out. What's the best way to get into tournaments? Start. If you're talking about kayak tournaments, join Kayak Bass Fishing. If you're talking about boat tournaments, find a club, a local club, and just go to their meeting and talk to some guys and see if you can get started with them. So, John Bolton, am I correct in saying that on the hotter days, the deeper you move out, the bigger worm and heavier weight you would throw? The heavier weight, yes, if you want to get to the bottom faster. The bigger the worm, not really. I throw a big worm all the time in the summertime. I love a mag 2 and a old monster, so that's kind of the size you're looking for. Get plumb crazy and get oh gosh, another pink one, and I can't remember the name of it. It's not bubblegum. But anyway, get plumb crazy and go fish with it in the summertime. John, thanks for the $5, man. Gosh, I ate too much chicken, and I'm on a diet. I roasted and smoked some chicken tonight on my new pellet grill, so I ate a little bit too much. Where do you get your bluegill swim jigs from? I get them from Greenfish Tackle. Tackle Warehouse sells them, is where I get them from. Greenfish makes all my swim jigs, and uh, and then all the rest of my jigs come from Seabird Outdoors. Those are the ones that I designed, the Seabird ones. But those swim jigs from Greenfish Tackle are awesome. They're just, I love them. Hey Gene, just moved to Georgia. How do I fish these hella hot days down here? Amen to that. Came from Indiana. Best thing to do is go early in the morning, late in the evening, and fish all night long if you really want to have a good time of catching them. And then bring lots of water if you're fishing during the day and fish deep. If it's a muddy lake, they won't be deep, but fish deep or go find some current. I'm curious to know what type of rigs this time of the year would be more beneficial. A Texas rig. Anything that'll get you down deeper and off the outside edges of things. Boy, I'm sorry, guys. I'm way behind. Anthony, thanks for the $4. Any tips for buying a used boat? The best tip I can give you is don't buy it until you have it checked out. Go take it to a mechanic. Find a mechanic that you can take it to. And if it's one of those that says, I can't get to it for 3 months, don't ever go back to him, because they should be able to just go through your boat really quick and go check it out. So that's what I would recommend. Can you do a video on fishing at night during the summer? I can talk about it. Filming it is another thing. So that's one of those things I'm just going to have to talk about. Can you use a trailer hook on a ball jig, or do I just need to use a smaller creature bait? Use a smaller creature bait. Trailer hook will get you all hung up. So, Bino, how do I like the Concept Z? I absolutely love it. It's a great reel. I beat the crap out of the first one I've got, and I just got two more a couple of weeks ago. So, except my son left it out on the beach during a windy day, and it got sand, covered with sand, and so I got to take it apart and cleaning it right now. So, because then he tried to use it and knock sand all the way into it. Not happy about that. They're not sandproof. At least not that fine sand that gets blown around on the beaches of Georgia. Would a moderate fast action rod um, be best for a chatterbait around heavy vegetation? Yes. A medium, heavy, moderate fast is what I would use. How to fish really deep 25-foot ponds and no cove? Depends on the water color. Water clarity depends on pretty much dictates how deep the bass are going to be in a pond. If you got grass, fish the outside or the deep edge of the grass. So, can you make a video on driving a boat? Yes, I'm gonna make part of that. That reminds me, years and years ago when Ryan was. I'm sorry, I'm not going to answer any questions for a few seconds, but when Ryan was in high school, I was his boater during the Junior Bassmasters before high school bass fishing started. And we were on Lake Jackson, and we watched a guy way across the lake try to get a boat up on plane, and he didn't know what the tilt trim switch was, how to lower the motor and everything else. So he'd get it way up here, and he couldn't get it on plane. He had the guy in the passenger seat climb up to the front of the boat to put weight on it. And when it dropped down, the motor would come out of the water. And finally, he put it on the trailer and took off. So I wanted to go over there and help him so bad, but we were fishing a tournament. It was hilarious. So. Bino, could you do a video on cleaning your reels? Best thing to do is go to Tackle Junkie 81's channel and look at his reel cleaning videos. He's got the best ones on YouTube, and they're the easiest to follow. That's what I would do. That's what I did when I learned how to do it. I used his videos. Can I join a tournament without a boat or a kayak? That all depends on the club. Probably not a kayak, because people don't. Well, you can probably borrow one, but clubs a lot of times have a co-angler division. So. Killer 5, what's going on, man? I haven't seen you in a while, brother. I know Florida's pretty hot right now. What kind of boat should I get? It's up to you, man. I'm scared to recommend that. Have you fished the Mullock Sneaky Frog? I have not. Any tips for Niagara River smallies? I only go in May, dude, and there's a few little flats off to the side on the Niagara River that I always catch smallies on. Right there in front of the condos is where I caught a bunch of them one day. Do I prefer aluminum or fiberglass boats, or does the situation dictate which one to use? I always will use aluminum until somebody pays me enough to use a fiberglass. I'm telling you right now, they're going to pay me a whole lot of money because I can be bought. Oh my gosh. Anyway. The aluminum boats, fiberglass boats, when I ran them, they cost me $80 to $120 a day. Aluminum boats cost me between $25 and $40 a day. That's what is the difference. I don't care about the cost per month, that the loan price or anything else, because you can extend those loans out for years and years and years until you can afford it. But if you can't afford to fish every day, it ain't worth having. So that's the deal. So yeah, Kevin the Bait Man's been on my boat. It is a legitimate bass boat. I am proud of it. I love that Pro 185 by Alumacraft. So let's see. There's a lot of good advice on here about bass clubs. Those guys who are looking to join a bass club. I don't know a whole lot about them. I've kind of steered clear of them because I'd rather just fish pot tournaments and have fun. Uh, let's see. Are you coming to Niagara Falls, New York, anytime soon? Nope, probably not. I turned down the trip this year that I normally go on, and I had to go help at home. So what kind of boat do I have? I have an Alumacraft Pro 185 with 115 horsepower Yamaha SHO on the back. Um, John Bolt or Bait or Kevin the Bait Man. I'm gonna give him a shout out real quick. He's got a website called Tackle Freaks that is really good. It's awesome. I love that website. You can buy just about any kind of tackle, and if he don't have it, he'll find it for you. So, what made you switch from Jackson to Bonafide if it wasn't the quality and performance of the performance aspects? I just said that just a few minutes ago. It's we had a agreement at the beginning of my contract, and they couldn't keep up with that agreement. So I had to step aside just so I could sleep better. It was pretty stressful for me and my family. So I didn't want to go through that stress anymore. They still owe me a lot of money. Send you and your boys a special gift, bro. Go Vols. Thanks, Chris. Oh man. Um, let's see. I was reading what Kevin just wrote. Fished my second tournament ever today. Came in sixth out of 21 with almost 15 pounds. Holy cow, dude! My first tournament, I caught two fish. I think I came in dead last or pretty close to it. So I wanted to weigh in all the freaking hybrids and stripers I was catching that day, but I couldn't. When are you coming back to Chattanooga to fish? Whew, I'd love to, man. They're on ledges right now, and people are whacking big ones. I have a full schedule until the end of July, so I don't. It'll probably be August, maybe September that I get out there, and it's only an hour and 20 minutes away. Um, is there any presentation that doesn't work well out of a kayak? I wouldn't say that. Deep diving crankbaits are hard. You just have to remember to turn your boat and cast off the side of your boat to give you some drag on them. Alabama rigs sometimes hard, but other than that, no, I don't think there is really. You just have to things with more drag sometimes get a little difficult. Do you have a video on how to get out of being snagged? Yes, I do. It's one on using a lure retriever is the video I made a long time ago. You coming to Long Island, New York at all? Wasn't planning on it. So Joseph Jones, good for you, Fluke. Seems you like the Bonafide a lot better as well. It is a better kayak. Like I said, the Jacksons are great kayaks. I'm not going to dog them at all. They make an absolute outstanding kayak. But the Bonafide is more stable than the Big Rig, and I wasn't the one that proved that. Somebody proved it to me. Um, it tracks really well. It's fast in the water. It does get a little windy. You have to absolutely, holy crap. Noah, what you giving me $50 for, you sucker? Um, anyway, gosh, that threw me off. It tracks well, but the wind behind it, you just got to know how to paddle different. You got to know what a power stroke is. You got to know a sweeping stroke and a draw stroke to keep you in line while you're paddling away from the heavy wind. So that's the biggest is. Thanks, Noah or Steve, whichever one gave me the $50. Holy crap, dude. Are you selling lure retrievers on your website? No, but that's a good idea. This old guy makes the lure retriever that I use. It's called the Tipton's Golden Retriever. You can find it in a few websites, but it's an old dude. He actually had a booth at a show I was at this spring. So I think they're $25, $30, but they pay for themselves pretty quick. John Bill, I struggle with fishing a Carolina rig even after watching several videos. I feel that my retrieve is too fast. How do you retrieve your Carolina rig? Um, the best thing to do to gain confidence in a Carolina rig is drag it until you feel something, and then stop and slow way down. Shake it a little bit and slow way down. And and if you're in the grass, you're gonna lift your rod up. If you're dragging it on bare bottom or rocks or stuff like that, you drag your rod to the side. Just go slow, dude. If you think you're not going slow enough, then slow way down. What's your favorite lure to use when they are biting? Oh my gosh, I don't know. If they're biting shallow, it's Topwater. If I just I it it's a ton of different ones, whatever they're biting on. So, um, you may fishing Clark's Hill this summer. Need some help, man. For once I've been gone from Clark's Hill for over 2 years, and just the other day I was like, man, I miss that lake because I could go out there and fish offshore this time of the year and at least catch some fish. And I'm traveling so much now; it's hard to learn my local lakes around here. But any fiberglass maintenance tips? I am a new Nitro owner and have been getting a bunch of different info. I don't fish a fiberglass, so I don't really know much about fixing them. I'm an aluminum fan, so that's kind of the deal I am. I'm sorry, man. Where can I buy a cheap aluminum boat? Depends on what size you want. I always will recommend Bucks Island Marine in Alabama. They are excellent. I talked to them. They're friends of mine. They work on my boat. Matter of fact, I talked to them this morning. They're going to start carrying Alumacraft here shortly. Hopefully, they're trying to, and I'm excited about that. But but yeah, I just go find your local dealer that has a good reputation. Uh, let's see. What is your choice of color to try JJ's Magic for the first time? Clear and chartreuse are the two colors you need to buy first to try out. So, what's my favorite flipping rod? I like to flip. Now, if you're talking flipping rod, I like a 7 foot 9 heavy, um, or a 7 foot 6 heavy. If you're talking punt or a pitching rod, I like a 7.3 medium heavy or a 7.3 heavy. I don't like a super long pitching rod. So, but I'll flip with a pitching rod, no big deal. So, Charles, thanks for the $5, man. I'm torn about joining a local kayak fishing club. I want to, but I have some strong disagreements with the club director. Would a would a moral issue keep you from joining that club? A moral issue? Yes, it would. If it was just a personality issue, no. But if you think he's cheating, I would go somewhere else. I've heard of a couple of kayak club presidents who their buddy and them always win the tournaments. So I have a problem with that. Have you ever fished Pickwick? Yes, I have. It's been several years, but I love that lake. I mostly fished the west end of it. Have I ever fished Lake Blackshear? I don't think I have. If I did, it's been many, many years. So, hey Gene, I'm going to San Diego for my honeymoon. What should I fish for? Oh gosh, I don't know, man. That'd be something to ask Matt Allen over at Tactical Bassin. Uh, Man, I just read today that he was in a real bad wreck this last week, but he came out unscathed. Him and his dad. Uh, let's see, tips on fishing medium large ponds with heavy hydrilla moss, etc. Canopy on the water, heavy punching rig or something. Yeah, I'd punch it. Um, is what I do, or fish any kind of outside edges, deep edges that you can find in that grass. So, man, you guys are asking the snot out of some questions. 235 people watching. That's awesome. If you guys haven't subscribed, be sure you subscribe. Hit that little subscribe button. And if you guys that are subscribed haven't hit the notification bell, make sure you hit that too. So when I launch a new video, that you get it. YouTube's been kind of funny not sending out notifications lately. So Jonathan Sosa, have I tried the new 6 cents rods? No, I picked one up at ICAST last year, but that's as far as it went. They felt like pretty decent rods. Coming to California this year, yes, I hope to. All depends on funds. And that's the first time I've said that, but funds are a little tight right now. Have you fished Lake no, I haven't. Tobasoki. No, I have not. Sorry, man. Let's see. Do I have any tips for throwing a spy bait on Lanier? Noah, if you're still on there, you remember this. I don't throw a spy bait like normal people do. My spy baits for me are a schooling bait. If I've got fish specifically, not specifically because I've done it on large amount, but if I've got fish schooling, and they go down and I can't get them on top water, I'm gonna throw a spy bait and run it just under the surface. Lanier is I do that all the time on Lanier. I schooled Noah on one, or at least I showed him how to use one, and we both started catching them on them. So, um, when the bite is slow, what's my favorite go-to lure to get the bite back on? I go to a Ned rig and a shaky head. Sometimes a drop shot, but usually not. Usually the two that are on the bottom. Because a lot of times when the fish get inactive, they get down on the bottom, and you have to change to something that's on the bottom. Hi, Fluke. Caught up 1 to 2 pounds straight with a chatterbait in 30 minutes after that. After the bite slowed down, how do you know when to switch for some other baits? Usually when I lose confidence or I notice that bite has changed. If it's been 10 or 15, 20 minutes and I'm used to catching them between that period of time, I'm going to switch up and try something else and just usually change my speeds before I do any of that. So, Mugs 28 SE. That's a good question. How do I balance my life? I go to church on Sunday. Even though I'm out of town, I try to go to church on Sunday. That's my balance. Number two is I garden. I do something other than fishing, and I spend as much time as I can with my kids and my family. And then I make videos. And so I'm getting my kids into my videos this summer. I'm excited about it. They're helping me by filming and doing a bunch of other stuff. So that's what it is. So. McGreg, thanks for the $10. Even though you're with 13, are you hype about the affordable DC reel by Shimano? I have not even seen it, nor have I heard anything about it. If you guys been watching me long enough, you know that not for quality reasons, but I am not a fan of Shimano and some of the things they've done to some of my friends over the years. So their reels themselves, every time I feel them, they feel like they're less than their price point as well. But that may also be that I'm pretty biased. So, Ryan Davidson, that's a funny question. Am I still sad about Bama beating Georgia? I never was sad about Alabama beating Georgia. It's not bad to be beat by the gutsiest coaching call in college football history. So, great channel. I'm new to fishing. Just bought a rod and reel. That's awesome, Hiko. That's awesome, brother. Have fun with it. Am I a fan of Quantum products? I haven't really heard much about Quantum in the last few years. Um, I don't know. I know KVD wears them out. He fishes them a lot, but I'm not sure if I'm a fan or not. Maybe they need to do some more advertising on the internet. I don't know. When bass go to spawn season in tropical weather, like when do bass go in spawning season? I'm gonna guess in Puerto Rico, just like in South Florida, they start spawning somewhere in December, early December. As soon as that water temperature gets down into the low 70s, they're going to start to spawn. What's my personal best? 10 pounds, 12 ounces, caught out of a kayak in Alabama. Where is the best place to buy a tungsten? The best way to buy tungsten, in my opinion, is what I did for a couple, 2 or 3 years and stocked up on tungsten. Is I took $20 every paycheck and I bought tungsten with it, whether I needed it or not, and I stashed it away. Best place to buy it inexpensively is on Amazon, but you're going to have to put inserts in yourself, and I've got an old video that I made a couple of years ago on how to do that. But yeah, that's what I would do. Is just $20 a month. Or $20 a paycheck anyway. Is it possible for you to get Biospawn baits in Lucky Tackle Boxes? No, because Biospawn is owned by Mystery Tackle Box's owner. And so you will not see Biospawn baits in Lucky tackle boxes. When I left Mystery Tackle Box, I also left Biospawn because it was kind of a package deal. So yeah, there's your answer. Miguel, thanks for the $2. Best baitcaster for beginners and poor people. Don't spend less than $60 is what I'd say. When I was starting out years and years ago, I would recommend not spending less than $50. No, I'd say don't spend less than $75 on a reel. $50 was what it was when I was back then. But if you're gonna buy your very first baitcaster, go to Academy Sports, go to Bass Pro Shops at Cabela's, try out some of their store brands. But I really like the Origin reels from 13. I think they're a really good first reel. They're not going to be as frustrating as it would if you bought a $50 reel or a $40 or $30 baitcaster. So, McGreg, who's better, Kevin Baxter or Gene Jensen? Kevin knows a lot more about baits than I do, so he's a good fisherman. Thanks, Hiko. Appreciate the $3. Do you know of any good places to fish? If so, what do you think will work? I don't know. It depends on where you're at, Cameron. Sorry. Um, let's see. Cameron, hey, I'm going to Birmingham, Alabama this week. Oh, this may be the one of two. Okay. I'm going to Birmingham, Alabama this weekend for my sister's college orientation. I'm younger than her. To convince my dad to let me sneak out for a little bit. I don't know any places real close to Birmingham. I wish I did. Gunnersville is usually as close as I get to Birmingham, and I don't know any of the small lakes. You might want to check in the Alabama Outdoor News website, and also check their local or their state DNR website, Department of Natural Resources website. So, where do bass go when during the summer and the water is muddy, still shallow? Yes, they'll still be shallow. They're going to go look for current. So windy banks on muddy water is excellent, or dirty stained water. Wherever the water's coming in, creeks, rivers, whatever else, and then grass if there's any kind of grass. But usually in a lake that stays muddy doesn't have grass. So current creates oxygen, makes it good for them to breathe, and they will go as deep as they feel comfortable, which is a hard thing. So, Steve Pescatelli, what's up, brother? That's Noah's daddy right there. Y'all say hi to Steve, the old sucker. Uh, Fishing up north, where to locate bass this time of the year? Secondary points, or humps. Humps, is where I would look, or wherever. If it's up north and there's grass on long points, hit the very outside edge of those grass. That's what I would do. So, looking on Alabama Bass Trail for lakes around Birmingham. Okay, look on Alabama Bass Trail. That's cool. Tactical Red, answer your question, brother. Um, what brand baitcaster do you recommend for a newbie? Also decent price. The other question is, what line should I get? Start out with 12 or 15 pound monofilament. Just because it's going to get frustrating to learn how to cast a baitcaster, and it's better to start out with monofilament than braid. A lot of people say braid, but I'd use monofilament mainly because it's braid's too easy. So if you ever switch to monofilament or fluorocarbon, it's going to be like learning all over again. So anyway, start with that. Get a 60 or 70, 75, $80 spinning or bait caster. I'm going to recommend the Origin A from 13 Fishing. I'm sponsored by them. I've tested it out. It's a good reel. That's what I have experience with. And then watch my video where I taught my nephew how to cast a bait caster, and you'll be just fine. So McGreg, driving through Birmingham right now, but live 5 minutes from Kevin's store, and he definitely knows a lot about baits. Every time I go in there, he is always able to put me on fish. Yep, the dude knows what he's talking about. Kevin, you're a star on this show, brother. Watching from Fresno, California. Keep teaching Flukemastr. Can't miss Friday nights with Gene. Thanks, Hector. Um, let's see. Let's get rid of this one. Done. Out of here. Love spammers. They're so easy to get rid of. What's your favorite jig brand? I design jigs for Seabird Outdoors. They're called the Flukemastr series jigs. The favorite ones that they make and the heads that they make is I love their football jig, which is called the gridiron jig, their skipping jig, which is an archy head kind of, and then their heavy cover jig is what I think they call it. Those are my favorite ones. So let's see. Noah's answering questions. Do you loosen the brake system on your Concept Z for lighter lures? Yes, I do, just a little bit, but not much. I have not seen your video yet where you pranked your dad. No, I've been meaning to watch it, just been too busy. You guys go watch that video. Everybody says it's hilarious. I haven't watched it. For a budget reel, loose speed spool LED LED are on sale for $80. That's not bad. It's a good price. Let's see. I can't catch fish with a green pumpkin zoom 6-inch fluke. What am I doing wrong? Probably using the wrong bait, David. To be honest with you, if you're fishing small ponds, I typically would go with a different color. Green pumpkin fluke is one of those things I've never been able to catch a lot of fish on, which is odd because I love green pumpkin. Switch to a worm and Texas rig it, and you'll have fun. So, Nitric Tiger, don't worry about it, man. I know, man. These questions pop by so fast. I miss people's questions, and I'm sorry. What 13 fishing rods do you use? I use the Muse Blacks. I use the Envies. I use the fake chromes are the ones I have the most of. And then, golly, guys, I wish I could show you pictures of what's coming out, but I can't. But the 13 rods and reels that are coming out at iCast are sick. They just look amazing. They're light. That's all I'm going to say. You just look for them. They're pretty cool. They're just different. Let's see. Saw the Concept see the E the other day. How good is it? It is really good. It is out of my price range. I have 2 of them, I believe, maybe 3, that they sent me. But if I was to buy them myself, I probably wouldn't because the A and the C are really good. The E is an amazing reel. If you got the money, buy it. But I never recommend a reel. I never recommend a reel to people that if they can't afford it. So can rivers get pressured? It's a stupid question, but you would think that there are always new fish. Yes, rivers can get pressured because a lot of those fish stay in that general area. They don't move up and down like some people think. There are some fish that migrate, but usually they stay put. Usually they don't have as much pressure as a lake, but it just depends on the river. I got to change my back angle. Gosh almighty, I hate having a bad back. Golly, there's 250 people on. You guys are awesome. Again, if you haven't subscribed, be sure you subscribe. Hit that little subscribe button and the little bell too. Gene, how often do you update your Navionics? I try not. I haven't updated them in a while. I don't do the little update thing. I'm still using my old chips because I'm cheap and I don't want to spend the money on the new stuff. But yeah, I'm actually gonna start trying out this new C Maps thing whenever they get their act together. It looks like it'll be really awesome. Jake Boss, I use left-handed reels, spinning, and bait casters, even though I'm right-handed. More comfortable for me. Yes, I totally agree with you. If it's more comfortable, do it. I've tried a left-handed bait caster. I can't do it. I reel a spinning reel with a bait caster, or I mean with my left hand, really good. Bait caster, I can't. I can't fight the fish is the problem. I have more power and more control over the fish with the reel in my left hand. So, heard that Z-Man is coming out with a weedless Ned rig that they are announcing at iCast. It must be different than the one they've already made. I'm excited to see that if that's the case. So, why did you go back to Lowrance from Garmin? Pretty simple. I'm huge on maps. I'm huge on being able to mark something take something that I see on my side imaging and my down imaging, click on it, or move the cursor to it, mark it, and be able to see it on the maps real good. Problem is it took too long with the Garmin's to move that stupid cursor like it was the old Humminbirds over to the thing, and then you couldn't hit mark. You had to hit a different button to get it. If you hit mark, it would mark your boat, and you had to hit a different button, and then maybe it would mark it on your map, and you'd be able to go back to it. It was just a pain in the butt. It was like using the old original Humminbird side imagings, and I couldn't stand those either, so I got rid of it. As soon as they figure out how to make that whole method faster, I would probably like it. So, Chris Golf, just say, just say hey to Chris Golf again, so I can give you more money, brother. That's too funny. Uh, let's see, Jersey Nate. I think that's how you pronounce it. I throw with my right hand and reel with my left hand. That's pretty cool. Do you go to the GON Outdoor Blast? I typically don't. It's usually right in the middle of one of my annual trips for one of my sponsors. That's usually why I miss it. What would you use in it? I was in it once because I was in the shoot off for shooting a big deer. Anyway, what would you use in a chocolate milk super fast river? I wouldn't fish it. I've heard that they're a giant largemouth, but I can't figure out how to fish it in the river. If they're a giant largemouth in a muddy river, the best thing to do is they're going to be as tight as they can to the outside edges of the banks. Is I would throw a spinner bait or I would throw something that makes a lot of vibration down that outside edge. So thanks, Alabama Bloodline Outdoors. I appreciate it, man. Robbed 18. Rudder recommendations for the SS 127, or is power pole anchor combo better? I use a power pole. If you want a rudder, there's only one rudder on the market right now until YoloTek comes out with their new one, and I can't remember the name of it. I bet if you called Bonafide, they'd be able to tell you within seconds of what the name of that rudder is. So, do you have any experience with the Lose Mock Crush? I don't. I'm sorry. I'm gonna play around with a lot of these reels that I cast. What's a good jerkbait rod and reel? What I use for a jerkbait, I'm actually doing a review of a Cashin jerkbait rod. Cashin rods is pretty good. Those will be my last few reviews on my review channel. But I like a medium mount moderate action rod, 7 foot or shorter for a jerkbait. And then the reel is going to be a 6:3 to 1 gear ratio reel, and then 10 to 12 pound fluorocarbon. What type of Oakleys did you wear last season? Were they the maritime prism lenses? They were the shallow water prism lenses. I've got a pair right here, I think. Nope, I don't. Those are my Oakleys. Yeah, dude, here they are. I got 3 pair of sunglasses on my deal. So they were these right here. So these are the fintails, but the ones I've been using a lot lately are my nines. So those are awesome. I wish I could get a sponsorship with these guys because I love their sunglasses and they're a lot less expensive than the Costas. So what's the name of the baitcasters you're sponsored by? 13 Fishing is who sponsored me with rods and reels. Greg, what's with LTB sending 3 topwaters this month? Living on Kentucky Lake, I have no use. Oh man, because I didn't know you lived on Kentucky Lake, I guess. Because the 3 topwaters, actually, I think I got 2 or 3. I can't remember. I have to look. But summer is topwater season. Early in the morning, late at night is when I would be throwing topwater. But yeah, you don't always get according to the lake that you fish on. I'm sorry, man. I know that's a ledge lake and you need heavy stuff. Um, hey, Joe Nee. This is Joe Nee, the guy that's got Chinese writing on his name, and then Joe. He says, I just recently reached 100 subs on my channel, taking everything I learned from your videos over the years and teaching them to the Chinese dudes that like bass fishing. That's awesome. So, yeah, he's learning from my videos. He's basically taking and making his own videos in Chinese with what he learned so the guys over in China can learn how to bass fish, which is absolutely cool. It's awesome to do, and plus he owns a pretty good Chinese restaurant in Dayton, Tennessee that I go to all the time whenever I'm up there. So last time he wasn't there, he was on vacation. Uh, Random Adventures channel is new. Editing video stinks. Any help here? Um, Watch a lot of YouTube videos on editing. Pick up some editing software. Don't use the free stuff. Use some editing software you actually purchase and then stick with it, and you will do just fine. Just be patient with it. What's the best way to fish topwater frogs? Um, my favorite way to do it is, of course, in the grass, but if you can learn how to walk a frog, you've won most of the battle, because I don't know what it is about walking a frog, but bass absolutely destroy it. Um, what's better, the Z or the C? Hmm. In my opinion, the Z is better. Those zero ball bearing bushings, bearings, whatever you want to call them, they make that reel so smooth. They make it so easy to cast, that it's all worth it. Holy cow! I've been doing this for an hour. No wonder I'm losing my voice. Um, how do I choose a chatterbait color? Okay, chatterbait color. I go with two different colors. I use black and blue, and I use white. Those are the two colors I go with most of the time. Oh, and if there's grass in the water, I go with green pumpkin. I don't know what it is about having grass and green pumpkin, but that's the third color I use. So those three colors, switch between them until you get bit, and that's how I choose. Um, let's see, Zach Allen, good question. What did you leave? Why did you leave MTB? What does LTB do different, if anything? LTB has they have evolved over the years, is what I can say. I used to not like them. I didn't like how they did. I didn't like how they advertised. I didn't like a lot of things about LTB, and it had nothing to do with me being with MTB. And so I started getting frustrated with the mystery tackle box. Their boxes weren't as good as they used to be. They kept getting worse and worse. They kept getting I'd get the same baits every single month. They weren't what they used to be. And so I decided to look around, and I looked at LTB, and they were doing things different than what I had noticed in the past. They want to teach people how to fish. They want to support their YouTubers and support their social media guys. They stand behind them 100%, and they're a good company. I still think Rick. I hope you're watching. I still think Rick is strange, to say the least, because he is. I don't know. I guess it's because he's a West Coast dude. I don't know, and I'm a Southern boy from Georgia. But I like him. I really do. I've grown to like him. He doesn't beat around the bush, so it's a good company, and that's why I decided to switch. And I'm a lot happier now because they'll let me do things my way. They don't try to dictate how I do things, which is cool. So later, random. I'm going to end this thing in about 2 minutes, so no big deal. When you talk about grass in the water, do you mean weeds? Yeah, basically hydrilla, milfoil, whatever kind of in the water grass or weeds there is, green stuff. Do you throw the huge swim baits like Matt and Tim? No, I don't. That's a whole lot of extra money I don't want to spend. My wife would shoot me. Um, what's your favorite brand of square bill cranks for the largies? Also, I love your videos, John Ripley. Those are I love the Strike King 1.5s. They're usually what I throw. The ones, if the bait fish are really small, those are the two that I throw, and I catch the crap out of them. And then the Spro Little John, I'll throw that a lot too. So thanks, Anthony. Appreciate it. Sorry for killing all you guys' batteries. That's why mine's plugged in. What's the best colors to fish in murky water and clear water? Um, let me see. Best way I can answer that, dude, is to go to. I made a video about a month and a half ago that covers every single bit of that, and it will clear it up and it'll make things a lot less confusing. It's a really good video. I put a lot of time into it, so yeah. So go watch that video. Got a little adjustment. I'm going to get off here in about a minute and a half, guys. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell. That way you get notifications. Your background color changes when your hand gets near the camera. Yes, it does, doesn't it? See. Larry, you're a bona fide Flukemastr. McGreg, thanks, man. What's the best Tennessee River system lake? My favorite river on the Tennessee River. Matter of fact, my favorite river lake. Sorry. Favorite lake on the Tennessee River is Lake Wilson. And that's because it's got so many different things you can try in a short amount of time. Followed by Chickamauga, followed by Gunnersville. But Wilson is my favorite one to fish. I just have always done good there, and I've always just loved fishing it. So, Daniel, what was the news? The news is that my website, flukemastr.com, is now able to ship 13 fishing rods and reels a lot faster because our supplier got a whole bunch of them in. The whole country's been out of them lately, so that's the news. And if you guys haven't checked out my website, check it out, flukemaster.com. And look at all the stuff that I have available there. A lot of Flukemastr stuff. A brand new shirt for 4th of July. It's going to be absolutely awesome. So, one more question, and I'm going to get out of here. So, let's see if I can find one that I can answer. Best 13 fishing reel that would be good to use every day. The Concept A is good every day. I've got a bunch of them that I've used a lot. I fished it for 2 years, so probably put 400 days on one reel, and finally had to clean it. So yeah, definitely the Concept C. So and Gene is going vegan. Shut up, Grant. Yeah, I will fart every day if I go vegan. There's no way I'm doing that. Happy Father's Day to everybody. Thanks to our soldiers, and thanks for you guys tuning in. Sorry I didn't get to everybody's questions. I don't read very fast, but I appreciate those who donated, and you guys are absolutely awesome. I'm gonna kick up a whole bunch of videos over the next few weeks, so stay tuned to those. I mean, it's going to be awesome. I've got a whole list of videos to shoot. My kids are on board. We're doing a challenge tomorrow morning that'll be out next week, and I can't wait to show it to you. It's going to be awesome. So take it easy. We'll see ya.